I mean, the very nature of playing drums is a nervous twitch, really. You know, all this sort of thing. It's a cross between being an athlete and a totally nervous wreck, really. About Keith Richards taught me rock and roll, and Brian and Keith taught me. I used to love Jimmy Reed. See, I was working as well in the studio, design, you know, painting and that, and I suddenly became unemployed, I think the word is, and I'd have the days free, and I was living with Mick's. Mick was the signee of this apartment, but we all lived there because it was cheap, you see, i.e. nothing. So we'd have nothing to do all day, but we'd just play over and over again. So I learnt to love Muddy Waters and people like that through an intensive 3-year crash course, you might say. I mean, Keith turned me on to how good Elvis Presley was. I used to hate him up until then. Bearing in mind I was about 21 then, 22. Elvis was like the least sort of, you know, I mean, Miles Davis was more what I would, that's what I considered someone, not Elvis, you know. Fats Domino was someone I considered, you know. So, but he turned me on to lots of other people like that. Of America was not the success, I mean, you know, you'd be in... I remember going to some place, I don't know where it was, but it was in like one of these cow palaces or something, and there was like 200 people in this huge arena all around the bandstand, and we drove in a motorcade. That was thanks to the Beatles. I mean, they expected us to be like that.
But it warmed up quickly. And
yeah, we were very lucky. We had a couple of big records.
And pretty soon, the response to you was similar to that of the Beatles. The kids were swooning, the girls were screaming.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had my... I never have been a great fan of the Beatles' music, you know. I do like them, I don't mean... But we just know them, and I love Ringo Starr. He's a lovely man. And I used to like... I don't know the other two, but I used to know John a little bit. But when people say, oh, it's like... The Beatles, the phenomena of them was something else, particularly in this country. But I don't think... Maybe it's, again, it's this thing you say, I can never see myself in it. I don't think you could put the same sort of madness that they had going in this country, particularly. I think there was at concerts when you'd turn up and play, but I mean, generally, you know, where you had every joke on telly, joke or something, or the Brady Bunch would say, I'm going to a Beatles. You know, on that level, dolls with them in. I mean, unbelievable, really.
In many ways, though, the response the Beatles got and the image of the Beatles allowed the Stones to be what they became.
It allowed us, but we in turn, had to fight that off. This isn't a hang-up, by the way. It's just a sort of looking back at these things.
Yeah.
We had to tell people, no, we play this, we do this. Brian was very good at that. In fact, it was a crusade of Brian's life to be this spokesman. He used to have a list of things written out, what he was and what he wasn't, you see. But that comes from being put in this young English group. People, you know, in those days we were called a group. You know, I mean, it's a name that was banded around for you.
Were there times that you just said, I need to get home? I just need to be home?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hate touring. I love going on stage. I love the lights, and I love playing. But I hate packing a suitcase. It takes me weeks to pack a suitcase. I mean, weeks. And going away from home. I still do. Even coming here, I hate leaving the front door.
It's incredibly incongruous with the life you chose.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I chose it. It's foisted on you. I can't be a drummer and sit at home and play. If you're George Gershwin, you can. You know, you write, you can sit. One imagines this, of course. Or Cole Porter, you know, you sit there and play the piano and send it off to the publisher. If you're a drummer, you can't do that. Hence, you have people like Art Blake who spent 70 years on the road, you know.
But you just gave me the opening, because you've spent this whole interview saying to me, I don't know if I'm that good at what I do. I just do this. But you know what, Charlie? If you weren't that good, no one would want you to go on the road. They wouldn't care that you sat home with your family.
Okay. Well, then, when I say I'm in a band, they actually are employing the band, not me, per se. But that's my get-out, you know, I suppose. If you want to nail me down, which you seem really pleased on doing.
No, I don't seem pleased on doing it. It's just that, you know, so many times today you find people who want to take credit for what they do. And it's a little disarming to find someone who's had so much success, who seems to want to take no credit.
All right, then, let's say, it's easier to say, no, if it's given to you, you can sit back and say, but I'm not particularly that pushy a person at any rate, you know? I'm not. I don't like over-the-top things anyway.
Something dramatic, I hope I'm not being too dramatic by using that word, has happened. Bill Wyman has said, that's it.
That's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
It's taken us a bloody long while to find a bass player, but carry on.
Well, but that is, in most people's opinion, the key partnership in a rock and roll band, drums and bass.
Mm.
This is a guy you've played with for an awfully long time. How difficult is it going to be to pick up and move on?
Pick up, move on. No, that's not hard. Whether it's going to be as good as with Bill, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I think, well, 10 years ago, it would have been devastating. Now, I'm not quite so. Personally, for me, it's devastating because I like Bill Wyman a lot. I used to go and sit in his room, and he's a very amusing man. I mean, whether he's being serious, to me, when Bill's being serious, he's totally very amusing. So I'm used to him, and you know, I mean, it's part of being on the road. I'd go and knock on Bill's door, whatever's going on, we'd laugh or something. So for me, it's going to be a big. It is. Now, I mean, I'm working now. I've been working 2 months in Ireland. We've got another month in Ireland to do next month. And I miss him already, you know. On the road, I will miss him as well.